self-image. You can try to pretend like it, but when the rubber meets the road, what you feel about yourself, your core belief about you down deep is what's going to come out when it gets hard. You know what I'm saying? So it's so important that we pray aside. Instead of waiting until the moment to get into some temptation, man, and let our emotions take over and go to a place that we don't want to go, we're pre-deciding what to do, man. We're pre-deciding who we are again, because when we know who we are, we'll what?
We know what to do.
And you gotta get this, man. So when I pre-decide, my decisions aren't based on what feels good in the moment. Because I'm really good at doing what feels good in the moment. Right? Really good at that, man. No matter if it's good, bad, indifferent. That's why a lot of people that go through this program, they make a decision to be faithful until marriage. Right? And I tell them, if you don't pre-decide and have in your mind, if and when this situation happens, this is what I'll do, then you're going to get into temptation. Because I don't know any man, can't speak for women, I don't know any man that gets in a room alone with a girl that's been in a situation like this, and you smell her lotion, it's not some stinky, grimy dude in the gym, and you start loving on each other and watching a movie and cuddling, man, and your mind's like, oh man, God is so good, and I'm going to be a great and full of integrity man of God, and nope, you got some on that side of the couch. Well, they compromise because it feels good in the moment, right? And then they feel shameful, and then when they feel shameful, they stop pursuing God, they stop getting right accountability, because they don't want to admit it, because it felt good. And then they go back, and they go back, and then you don't see them anymore, and their life starts to unravel, and everything falls apart because they would not pre-decide what to do before they got to that situation, and they acted on how they feel, what feels good in the moment. I know many people that are in relationships that are so jacked up, and everybody knows that they're jacked up except them, because it feels good in the moment to have somebody to have an ear of. It feels good in the moment to have somebody to talk to, even if it's not godly, even if it's not good. So many people stay there, regardless of what they know and what people say, because they're being ruled and driven by their emotions instead of being driven by what they want for the rest of their life, right? So last week I asked y'all about what do you value? Like, what do you want people to say about you when you're not in the room? If you passed away today, what do you want them to say at your funeral? What characteristics do you want them to say that you live by? Right? What were your values? What did you think was extremely important in your life, man? Like, you gotta have these values, because when your values are clear, your decisions are easier. Right? You're gonna have an easier time deciding this is what I'll do and this is what I'll not do when your values are clear. Right? And so this is all things that we talked about last week that you gotta get down, man, to get started on this. But let's dive in to this week's lesson, what we want to talk about, man. I want to ask you a question. How many of y'all have ever given into a temptation and regretted it? Right? Really regretted it, man. Every one of us have, right? Why though? Why did you give into that temptation? How many of y'all knew better? Okay, so what are you doing? We're grown, right? We're adults. Do I have to say it again? Shouldn't have to, right? But why do I keep doing it? Why does God keep taking me to the woodshed? You knew better. It's not who you want to be. That's not what you want to portray. But here we are, right? And here I am, hiding in my office with the door shut, like, I ain't going to go face nobody, because they don't know, but I know, and I feel guilty. And I don't want to tell them that I feel guilty, because I don't want to tell them what happened, and then you get in that situation where we struggle, right? Man, so we get in these situations where we give into that temptation, we begin to screw up, and chances are you're giving into that temptation, and here's one of the main reasons why: because you weren't ready, you weren't prepared, right? God inhabits prepared places. If you prepare yourself to handle life and what comes at you, you're going to not fall into as many temptations in the moment. That's what pre-deciding is. It's planning ahead. It's preparing. This is what I'm going to do with my finances. This is what I'm going to do with my marriage. This is what I'm going to do as a dad. This is how I'm going to be a minister. This is what the Lord said. This is what I value. So because of what I value, I have to be prepared. I can't just wing it. That's what comes natural to me. My personality, I don't want rules. I don't want a 9 to 5. I don't want a schedule. I just want to fly by the seat of my pants. That's easier for me than anything else, right? Give me a job, but don't you dare tell me how to do it. Give me the freedom to do it how I want to do it. That's how I've always been, man. I really struggle being told what to do. So my natural, even in services, Like, I used to be like, I don't know what we're going to do, it's going to wing it. And they'd be like, you didn't like, we're going to preach? I have no idea yet. I've been praying and fasting. When I get up, I'm going to open my mouth. And my pastor would be like, okay, I hear you. And that's okay, but maybe, just maybe you need to like plan a little bit and be prepared, right? He called me a shotgun preacher when I first started preaching because I didn't have a note. I had a Bible and I preached everything I knew from Joel to Revelation and back, and I just was winging it, right? And he's like, it's okay, I love that you're following the Spirit, but maybe have a little bit of a plan too. Then God deviates from that, and I really had to learn, right, how to do this, man. So I want you to get this and get to the place where you're willing to plan. And this takes time, because how many things in life do you have to decide on every day? At least 35,000 by statistic. So I have to sit and plan and prepare and think and study and determine what I value so that I can decide if 35,000 decisions I'm going to make today, what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. Because otherwise, I'm going to be looking at things that I'm not supposed to look at. And I'm not going to just plan enough. So I have certain things and certain blocks and certain different things that I can't pop up on my computer or my phone. Why? Because that way I'm not like, well, I didn't plan on it, but it popped up. And then in the moment, it just, I don't know what I did. Right? We have to prepare. We have to plan so we don't fall into temptation and then fail, man. Scripture says over and over and over and over again to be prepared. Why? What do we have? Huh? An enemy. We have an adversary. Right? Jesus talked about him often, man. So we have to plan. We have an adversary. He hates you. He hates family. He hates it. Right? This relationship with me and my wife represents my relationship with Jesus. So if me and her are good and we're representing godly things, that shows that me and him are good because I'm spending time. If we ain't good, then me and him ain't good. Right? And the enemy hates Christ-likeness. He hates family. He hates this right here. People coming to church. Right? So he's going to come and he's going to attack. Paul said in 1 Corinthians 16:13, right? He said, be on guard and stand firm in the faith, right? Why do we have to be on guard? Because we have an adversary. We have somebody that's trying to derail us from the life that we said we're now going to live. It's not like you get saved and you skip through life for the rest of your life. Right. Like everything's good now, I'm saved. No, you haven't even known what a battle is until you get saved. Then you really honestly start to battle, right? Then you really start to go through it because you're not a threat to anybody. And when you're on the enemy side, but when you get saved, man, he said, be on your guard, be aware, right? Stand firm in your faith, man. Then he said, be courageous, be strong, right? Don't give in, don't give up. He said, because your enemy is attacking, don't let your guard down. Don't get comfortable. Don't stop being disciplined. Don't stop doing what you've pre-decided you're going to do just because life's going good for a moment. Right? Don't decide that you can let your guard down at any moment, because when you do, that's when he comes. I told someone today, the enemy does not care. This is the door to your past, right? Boom, it's wide open, do whatever I want. You can shut that door to here, and the enemy will back up, and he'll just wait because he's patient. Go ahead, think you're good. The store's not all the way last. You're good. Go ahead and worship. Go ahead and pretend like you got. Go ahead and serve in ministry for like a year or something, right? But don't really shut this door to your past. Don't really be fully on guard for everything, man. Compromise. Just make justification for what you're going to do. And when you begin to struggle, what happens? The store's not shut. It's easily kicked open, and you begin to struggle, and you begin to battle, and then they blame God. God's not there, and God doesn't hear me, and God does. It's not God, right? But you decided not to decide to shut that door fully to your past and really be genuinely different, man. Right? Don't let your guard down. The enemy's coming. Jesus said this in Matthew 26. He said, watch and what? Pray. Watch and pray. Right? Don't be aimlessly like, oh, I'm good, God. No. Watch and pray. I have to be looking. I have to be on the lookout. Temptation is going to come to me today, tomorrow, the next day. It's coming. It might be a person. It might be a temptation to look at something. It might be to say something hurtful, but it's coming. So Jesus said, watch and pray lest you fall into temptation. Right? Y'all with me, man? So why do we have to do that? So we're ready. right? So we're ready, so you don't fall into temptation, because your spirit wants to do the right thing. Your spirit is willing, but what's weak? Flesh, man. So often so weak, man. I'm doing this diet thing right now with Evan. He wanted to like cut up a little bit. And I'm like, I could care less about that. But he's like, I don't want to do it alone. I'm like, all right, so we're eating no carbs, none, zero. Oh, girl, I can fight everybody right now. You're gonna know that I'd probably fight you and eat that. Some really weird laugh, but I really would. I'd do anything for it right now. I'm looking at food and I'm just like, oh, I've never thought I would feel this way, right? And that's like funny because it's not that big a deal, right? But that's the way that it works. As soon as you think you're gonna get something up, I'm good. Right, all of a sudden the enemy magnifies how much it means if you have that and why you need it. That could be vaping, that could be drinking, that could be porn, that could be the feeling you have to be in a relationship and have this person. And man, he says, watch and pray lest you fall into temptation, man. The spirit's willing, my flesh is weak, man. That's why we're going to pre-decide that we are ready. Right? I'm pre-deciding. Now, why are we watching and praying? Why are we on guard? Why are we doing these things? The first reason, man, right? I hate to tell you this, but the enemy is coming for you. He wants to steal, kill, and destroy anything that looks like God. That's his only job. He's going to hell. He knows he's defeated. Jesus already has the keys of death, hell, and the grave. He's already a defeated foe. But for a time, until Jesus comes back, he's trying to snag as many people as he can, torment them, get them to be anything but godly, so heaven's not their home. Right? That's his job. So we have an adversary. So number one, why do we have to be on guard and be ready? The enemy's coming for you, man. Our spiritual enemy has a mission to steal, kill, and destroy everything that matters to the heart of God. That's what he wants to do. The Apostle Paul said in 2 Corinthians 2:9, he said, I wrote to you. Why do you write? So that Satan, the father of lies, will not outsmart us. Man, you hear that wording, right? He's slick. And he knows how to get you to believe the lie very easily, right? We see it all the time here especially. We know how he gets you to believe it. He gets in your mind and you really believe it, though everybody around you say this ain't good. So many times when people look at me and really believe what they're doing is the right decision, and they're justified, they're going to be okay if they do it, right? You see it all the time, and it's like, man, he says, be on guard, and I'm writing this to you so that you can outsmart the enemy, so that you don't get duped, so that you don't fall into his evil schemes, right? So that you don't think that like you don't need that, and you don't need to focus on God right now. You have this. He's scheming you, man, to get you to a place where you're tempted. I want you to think about this, man. Think about where you're tempted right now. And I want you to start to think back. I guarantee you, if you take time this week to think back, you'll see where the enemy started to scheme your mind to believe that this is what you need. I promise you, you'll see it plain as day, man. I've seen it so many times in my failures. I look back on some of my failures, some of my bad decision moments, and I go back and I'm like, man, I realize now, months before that, I saw this couple or whatever, and I coveted what they had. Instead of being happy for them that God blessed them, I was like, man, it must be nice. Then I started to look for that thing that would satisfy in the way that they satisfied. The enemy said, if you had that, maybe you'd feel better. Maybe your wife would honor you more. Maybe this would happen better. Maybe more people would come and stay committed. And then you start to go, it's a scheme, man, to try to get you chasing things that aren't the heart of God for comfort, for peace, for satisfaction, man. And so the enemy, he knows when you start to believe that lie just a little bit, you get weak, right? You get weak, man. And that's when you're vulnerable. That's when this door gets kicked open, right? That's when you come back and you're like, how did I get here again? How is this happening again? I'll tell you why, man. Because you weren't ready. You hadn't pre-decided yet, and all these snares of your life, that this is what you're going to do, and this is who you're going to be. So we're right back where we hate being, but we're there again, man. Y'all with me, man? Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing. He's against you. That's why we have to be ready. Then the second thing, I'm going to share a secret with you, man, and I'm saying this in love. You are not as strong as you think you are. Right? You are not. You don't have it together. And right when you think you do, that's probably when you're going to start compromising, because pride goes before what? Fall. Destruction, man. Right? You are not as strong as you think you are. Some people are compromising right now. Right now you think, man, it's not that big. I won't get back to here. Keep believing that scheme from the enemy. keep believing that lie, and I promise you, it's not going to end well. I've never seen it end well. It's never going to end well because the Word of God shows us what it is, man. Right? So we tend to think we can handle a lot more than we actually can. I'm tempted to believe that I can shoulder every person's weight in this room solo. I got the Superman syndrome, right? God called me. I have to be strong, and I have to be able to do it. I cannot do it, right? I cannot shoulder everybody's load in here. I have to depend on God just to carry my own load, right? Let alone carrying everybody else's. But I get steamed sometimes into thinking I have to have the answer for Dan, and for Sean, and for Mike, and for Barbie, and for Matt, and for Beth, and everyone that's ever came here over the last 19 years that I helped. When they call me, I have the answer. I have the right answer. It has to be the Spirit leading me. I get deceived, and I get overwhelmed, and I get tired. And I think I can't do this, God. I need help. Right? I need help. I need certain things. But I don't have certain things. And the enemy will start to scheme in my mind to believe, man, that this isn't worth it. Right, and I've been there more times than I'd like to admit that I've been there in the 19 years I've been in ministry, man, right? And I'm telling you, he gives a very sober warning to us in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, right? Verse 13, he says what? No temptation has overtaken you except what?
What is common to man.
Common to man. That means what you're dealing with is not unique, right? It's not unique to you. It's not different than anybody else. You're not isolated. Nobody understands you. It says every temptation you have is common to man, right? Yours might be a little bit greater in this category than somebody else's, but it's not abnormal. The greatest lie that I've seen people start to believe is like, nobody understands what I'm going through. False. The scripture tells us that. Nobody can understand the pain that I had. False. I might not. Somebody does. God certainly does. Right? No temptation has overtaken what's common to man. But what's it say? But God is faithful, who will what? Not tempt you beyond what you're able to bear. And with the temptation, he'll give you an escape plan every single time so that you might be able to bear it. That's what it says. But right before that, verse 12, right? He says, hey, those of you who say I don't need this, those of you who say I got this, I'm going to handle this. It's no big deal, right? Those of you that say, I don't need to tell anybody about this and help me carry this burden. I'm good. Y'all can worry, right? Y'all can get help, but I'm good now. I ain't worried about it at all. This is what Scripture says about us, man. We're in that place. You who think you're standing firm, be careful. When you're overly confident, those are the people that tend to fall, right? That comes right before verse 13, no temptation has overtaken you, man. Powerful couple scriptures, man. That's why we often end up in a place that we don't want to be, because we make decisions that don't honor God. And there's these studies that are really cool, man. I won't give you all the things for the sake of time, but they say people, largely, in these studies, vastly, like, it wasn't even like a little bit, like, okay. He said people vastly overestimate their ability to resist temptation. The average believer in a church, when they would poll them, almost everybody was like, oh, that'd be good. I know what to do. And they found, as they watched their life, that was most of them, way more than 3/4 of the time, not true. Right? Now, temptation comes in all forms and kinds. How many of y'all maybe struggle to gossip about somebody every once in a while? Right? And it's easy. Like, it's easy to get caught up in that. That's a temptation. How many of y'all get tempted to let your eyes go where they're not supposed to go, even just for a minute? Everybody in here probably struggle with that at times. How many of y'all struggle with listening to things you shouldn't listen to? How many of y'all struggle with going places you shouldn't go? I mean, we're tempted all the time to be hurtful and to speak hate and bitterness when we're hurt and we're bitter. I mean, there's temptations of all kinds. Sometimes I'm tempted to not help somebody that God puts in my path because I'm tired. Today would have been one of those days where I'd be like, if I see somebody who's really struggling, I'd be like, here we go, bro. And it happened this morning. That actually happened. Somebody needed to talk, and I was like, oh, should have just stayed home this morning, man. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to fall into that lie. I'm not going to fall into that garbage, man. Right? And I was able to talk to that person, and I thank God that I did. And I'm blessed that I did. Man, y'all with me? So we have to be careful. We vastly overestimate, or we may think we're stronger than we really are. And there's a technical term for it in counseling. It's called restraint bias, right? It means we're biased to think that we can not do more than what we think we can not do. Right? So the term, it's actually a cognitive distortion in counseling. It's a twisted way of thinking. Right? And it leads to mess ups over and over and over, man. You think you can fight off more than you can fight off. That's like when they bring the chocolate cake right now. I'm on this no carb thing, man. Then they bring that shit and you walk past it the first time, you're like, oh, I'm good, bro. Then you walk by it the second time, it's in my hair, it's in my beard, it's on my shirt, right? Come over, you're shoving in the hallway, like, you think you can, but man, you keep getting around that thing, and all of a sudden you're like, forget it, Dad. Ed worked day 2 of it, and after 3 of it. And yesterday, Ed, we were at the gym, and he's like, I can't breathe. I'm so tired. I don't have no energy. And like, he's like, I almost got this big fish sandwich, dude. I'm like, we're on day 3 of your first ever cut, bro. Like, get your strength together. And in my mind, I'm thinking, eat it, bro. Because I'll be right back. Get ice cream and everything, bro. I don't care about it. Yesterday, they were like, after I worked it, I was like, you are right, 100%. Let's go get that ice cream in the gym right now. Let's go. And I'm trying to be strong for him, right? But I'm laughing because I'm preaching on this, and this is what little like funny ways we're going through right now. And I'm like, man, we think we're way stronger than what we are, man. And it's so important that we get sober-minded, man. We overestimate our ability to fight off the wrong things, man. One of the reasons is we have no idea how much energy it takes to actually resist temptation. It's hard, man. Just fighting off the temptation will drain you spiritually. It will drain you emotionally, right? It will drain you in every way, and you'll become fatigued spiritually, emotionally, in every single way. You will wear yourself out, not even failing yet, just trying to fight, failing, right? You'll be tired, and that willpower muscle gets tired, and then what happens? You act on what you feel in the moment, and you fail, and you do it, and it feels great when you're doing it. Yeah. Not gonna lie. In the moment, it's like, I should have done this sooner, but immediately after, you're like, you remember what you value. You remember what's important. You remember who you said you wanted to be. You remember where you said you wanted to go. You remember the relationships that you said you wanted to have. You remember all that right after, and it's like, man. But at that point, it's too late. Now the enemy has room just to ravage your mind and tear you up and make you feel guilty and ashamed and mess with your life, man. So it's so important that you get this, and we guard from becoming mentally fatigued and spiritually drained, man. The part of our brains that controls this willpower, it wears out. Willpower wanes. It gets tired, man. It goes away. That's the reason why you work with anybody, even it's like hard to be around, right? You do good, and you do good, and you do good, and you do good. And then one day you're like, I can't take these shenanigans anymore. And you absolutely lose your crap on them. Right? You ever been there with family or somebody? Like, you're like, I've been doing good for like 3 weeks. And maybe you're good as 2 hours. I don't know, but like I've not flipped out, and I've been there, guys. The most shameful moment for me in ministry, God has a sense of humor. I lost my cool. I threw a table. I got upset. One time in all the years I've been doing this, it had to do with something against my wife, and I'm like, I justified, but here's what happened. I was not dealing with it, and not dealing with it, and not dealing with it, and not dealing with it. I got to the point where, like, when I saw it, I hadn't pre-decided to do anything. I hadn't pre-decided to love him. I hadn't pre-decided, in my mind, I'm like, do it again, bro. Give me a reason, right? When that temptation came, I did. Guess who I see at the jail yesterday? And, hey, Josh. I'm like, hey, man. He's like, I'm coming to the program after I get out of here, buddy. I was like, oh, yeah? Okay. And he's like, man. And then he shared his testimony. Me and Josh had a little thing because I acted out, and Josh was letting me know that that's his wife. She never going to be talking to you like that. And he's like, man, it was my fault. I'm sorry. And I was like, sorry, bro. And I see now how much I've matured from that moment. Because after that moment, I felt super ashamed. I said, everybody here, that's not what a Christian man. My kids were even here. I sat them down. That's not what a man does. It's not what a Christian man does. He doesn't act on his emotion. He doesn't act like an idiot, man. He doesn't try to prove his toughness by being tough. He finds his toughness from being able to manage his emotions rightly. Then get on his knees and pray for that person and help that person instead of trying to feel like I have to tear that. I mean, I was tore up, bro, right? And then I see him yesterday, and I'm like, God, I really changed. Thank Jesus. It was way different, right? It was way different, man. So it's so important that you guys get this, man. And you see people and you make good decisions. Like people go to work and thrive. I know people that are like, they're getting awards at work. And they're people persons and they're social and they do so good and everybody loves them and they go home and it's chaos and hate and toxicity. Why? Because you've made all these good decisions while you're at work dealing with people because you want to be honored and you want to be respected, right? But when you go home, you haven't pre-decided the same thing there because of things that have happened to you and the temptation that you have to tell them about themselves. So you go home and you self-destruct. I know people that I work with that eat like healthy and do all this stuff, man, they're good. Then they go home and they binge and they crash and you're like, I don't understand, this guy's a health nut. But when they go home, they're like, I've made so many good decisions already, I'm tired of doing it. And they go home and they self-destruct, man. I know many people here that have been clean and sober, right? They did that way for a long time. And they get out of here and they begin to self-destruct. Why? Because they haven't pre-decided. I talked to a guy last week. He said, Josh, when I was in, this guy did great here. He said, when I was in the program, I always had this little thought in the back of my mind. If I would happen to do this again, this is what I would try to do. He said, I never told a person that was in the back of my mind. He said, so when it was presented to me, I took it. Right? I did it. I messed up. I took this pill. I started vaping this thing again, and his life spiraled, and he lost a lot of respect from a lot of people that believed in him. It's been a hard 2 years for this man. Maybe 2, I don't know, something like that. It's been very hard. Harder than most people that I've ever seen. Thankfully, this is one of the few that's actually come back and started to try to get things right again, man. That's very rare that they even live through it or don't just reject this thing altogether, man. So I praise God that they're coming back. But man, that's what we're talking about counseling. Like you had it pre-decided. When that opportunity comes, this is what you're going to do. And so when it came, he had to make good decisions here all day. And when it came time to getting away from here, he just fell apart, man. Right? But it's so important, guys, that we get this, man. Y'all with me? Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to pre-decide to be ready. I want to share with you 3 quick keys, man, to fighting temptation. 3 things that you can do, man. So if you're taking notes, write it down. The first thing we're going to pre-decide is to move the line, right? We're going to move the line. That's the very first thing that we're about to do, man. If I can get this out here. So we're going to move it. This is the line. We'll talk about that in a second, man. We're going to move it. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to magnify the cost. Right? We're going to move the line. We're going to magnify the cost. We're going to look at what could really happen if we tend to give ourselves grace. Right? When it comes to bad decisions, it won't be that big a deal. No, let's magnify the cost, man. What would it really cost me? Worst case scenario if I did this right here. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to pre-decide to plan your escape. All right, 3 things that I've learned to do in my own life that I really want to pass on to y'all, man, and hopefully get it. We're going to be ready because our spiritual enemy is coming for us, man. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down a line. And I'm going to assume that on this side of the line, this is sin, right? All of it. There's no left sin. This is sin. This is God honoring spot over here, right? So we get to a place where we're starting to honor God. We want to do good, and you get in a relationship. And what do we do so often? Back when I was getting ready to date, I'd ask my pastor, like, so how far is too far? Immediately. What's the line? So I'm going to get right to it. Right? We get my toes. Is this sin? Because if it's not sin, I'm down, right? Because I want to push the line. But, like, can I kiss? Can my hands go here? Well, what can I do? Like, I don't want any room for misinterpretation, man. He just looked at me. He was like, what did Jesus say? Don't even put yourself in a position to be tempted to lust and fall in. Don't even put yourself there. Don't go in a room with her, ever, without accountability. Don't sit down and snuggle and watch a movie. Like, don't even go on a date if this person doesn't meet your non-negotiables. Why would you push the line? Well, the first thing I'm going to do to resist temptation, if you have a problem on Amazon, keep going spending money. You're like, it's a deal. How could I pass that up? You don't need it, and you're spending money. Here's what you do. Instead of pushing the line, well, it's just okay because I need it in the moment. No, give somebody else your Amazon password. And say, when I want to buy something, I'm going to let you know, and if you think it's ridiculous, you're not going to put my password in, like, they don't need that, right? be willing to move the line, whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? I don't need whatever it takes, guys. Move the line, man. Do it. Get it. If this is not God's will, this is dangerous. This is God's will. This is healthy, man. Right? And what we typically do, and don't act like you're holier than thou on this, man. Right? This is what we do. When there's a line somewhere, what do most of us do? What do you do?
All right.
Push it. I'm going to push that line as far as I could go. Can I be a Christian and still drink?
No.
Huh? I just want to know, when does it become sin? All right? Does the Bible say drinking a beer is sin? No. It does not say drinking a beer is sin. But why don't I? Right? Because why? When I go up to the line, oh no, I'm starting to feel a little off. Now I'm drunk. Now I sin. Now it's going to be easier to do it again and again and again because I'm going up to the line. Guys, listen, it's okay. Can I mean, this isn't weed. Can I just do this? Weed, it's natural, bro. It's from the earth. God gave it to us as a gift, man. Like, can we push the limit and risk falling back into brokenness and temptation and dumb things of who we were? Or did I really let my old man be crucified when I came to Christ? If this man is crucified, I'm going to move the line way over there, and I'm not going to go anywhere near it. Then I'm preparing and I'm ready to never fall into temptation, right? But I promise you, the more that you push this line, the more that you're going to fail to the point where that becomes your normal, and now you're here. Doesn't matter if you're here or over here. On this side is sin and destructive, right? I don't care what it is, man. So you have to move the line. You have to get away from it, man. Y'all with me?
Amen.
So my spiritual enemy is coming at me. What do? Right? When I know there's a line of sin, I'm going to move the line and I'm going to stay away from sin. Right? So many people dating, that's what they ask me. They don't say what honors God. Like, can I do this physical act and it be okay? Right? That's what everyone always wants to know. Even Ed, when we started dating, man. Right? Can I? Is this okay? And I'm like, bro, pump your brakes, bud, because all that gets your mind in one place, and it's never going to end with that, right? Ever. It's not. We're human. We have to be realistic. We have. So move the line, man. Right? If you want to have consequences and have a baby at this age and your whole future on what you want to do be gone, go ahead. Right? But it's sin and it's destructive and it's not going to bring anything that you're ready for right now, man. So we move the line. We stay away from sin. If this is wrong, I'm not going to get as close as I can. What I'm going to do is move the line, man. Y'all with me? Let's say your phone is a problem and you spend 4 hours a day on Instagram. Like that's low today for what most people spend on social media, right? Say you're spending time on there. It's like 4.5 hours a day, and I know you got some interesting friends, but nobody's that interesting at all, man. Let's say that's a problem. You're stuck in your phone and you can't get out of it. You're just on it all the time, and people around you are frustrated and they don't see your face, and you don't have this connection, and you don't have this joy that comes from relationship, man. Like what do? You're going to get away from that, which is distracting, right? And you're going to put limitations where set on your phone. There's blocks. All my kids have blocks on their Xboxes. Like, you can play for this long, then you're done. Why? Get away from the line. Because if I say you can play for 2 hours, they're going to play for 2 hours and 6 minutes until I remind them that time's up. Everybody, already they're going to argue with me about it. They're going to push it across the line. So set a limit. You got 30 minutes. That's it. Right? I'm not going to put you in a position to get to the line. I'm going to set a boundary where we can't get there, man. Y'all with me?
Amen.
You're moving the line. Let's say every time you go out, you end up going to a club, or you go to a bar, or you go somewhere out where you're just going to hang out, man. And the next thing you know, you get drunk. And the next thing you know, you get drunk, you hook up with somebody, right? And you're in this situation, man. And how that happened. And people say all the time, well, I'm just going to go out, and I might not get drunk. I'm not going to hook up. I'm just going to go. Bro. You are the company that you keep. What are you going to do if you push that limit and push that line? You're going to give in. Right? You were going to one day, might not be the first, third, fifth, probably within the second time, right? If you're in that environment, you're there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So, man, you're going to get drunk. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall into it, man. So what do? Do I just go and try to be self-disciplined enough not to do what they're doing? No, you don't go. You don't go to the club at all. You go to Chuck E. Cheese instead and eat pizza and drink pop and laugh with your friends and hit the little things down in the thing, but you don't go there. So many people, man. This guy one time, this pastor told me a story. Said this guy came for counseling, was a pastor. Every time I go to this convenience store, this woman's hitting on me, and me and my wife aren't doing good, and she's like really complimenting, and he's like, all right. He's like, man, every time I go, she's like, give me this look, but she gives my change for my coffee. He's like, all right, what happened? And I keep going back, and like, I feel like there's this connection. It's just coffee, and one day I went like this, and she touched my hand, and she giving me my change, and man, it's something. What do I do? And he's like, man, God just gave me a word for you. He's like, come here. He said, go somewhere else and get your coffee. I was like, man, like how boneheaded do you have to be to realize you can move the line and change that. You don't have to go there. You can go 13 seconds down the road and go to the one where the bald man that you're not attracted to. Go there instead. Move the line. Right? People get stuck on pornography and, man, I'm just looking. Get rid of this phone. There was a man that was struggling with pornography. He's in ministry. His wife's in ministry. He came and said, Josh, he's got like 9 kids. He came and said, Josh, what's going on? I'm like, nothing. He's like, a lot of sin. Nothing's talking about me. I'm like, do you see something, man? What do I need to say? He's like, no, me. He's like, I keep drifting back to things on his phone. I fell asleep. I was looking at it. My wife walked in and it's right here. Like, I'm sleeping and she sees it. I'm like, all right, man, what are you going to do about it? Well, no, I'm just trying not to look, but it just keeps happening. I've struggled my whole life. And I'm like, bro, here's what you do. You get a 1997 flip phone. Right? It's going to take you 19 minutes to type the. Right? But that's okay. You have to move the line so that you're not tempted. Jesus said, your eye caught your sin, pluck it out. Your hand cut it off. Doesn't mean physically rip your eyeball out, but whatever you're tempted with, get away from it. Get out of there, man. If you're tempted to go buy things that you're going to do with habits in those stores, you don't go in the store. Let somebody else go in the store that's not going to do it because they love you and they want the best version of you. They don't want the broken and given to the temptation version of you that's shady and lying and not okay. Mad and aggravated and miserable because they don't like themselves because they're failing. Like, that's who you have to get in your life. You understand what I'm saying about moving the line, though? Right? You got to move the line, man. Now, what are you going to do? You're not going to go. Psalm 16:6. This is what David said. He said, because people say when I tell them stuff like that, so restricted. I just want to have fun. This is my life. I want to live it. Like, that's restricted. Here's what I tell them. Here's what David said. David could do anything he wanted. He was filthy rich. One of the richest men ever. Outside of Solomon, man, super smart, king of Israel, could have done pretty much anything he wanted. He said, the boundary lines for me, that's what he was saying, the boundary lines for me, they have fallen in pleasant places. He said, it is freeing for me. It is pleasant for somebody to love me enough to give me boundary lines so I don't ruin my life. It's pleasant places for me to know that there's a limit to push it and still have y'all's respect. Thank God that that's there, because otherwise I'd already failed at least once a year in the last 19 years, right? Because we're prone to temptation. We get tired, we get weary, man. Like I'm really literally having to live this out right now in my life because my mind is a little bit tired, man. So I'm so thankful that we have these things in here from David, man. It's freeing. It's delightful to be able to have this. We're going to move the line. The second thing we're going to do, man, we're going to magnify the cost because anytime we're tempted to give in to temptation, there's always a risk. We excuse the risk and we act like that's not going to happen to me. Y'all remember the story I told you about the woman that got the baby raccoon? I did a podcast on this one time. I don't remember if I said it here or not, but she got this her dog just died. This baby raccoon showed up on her porch. It's a true story. She's like, oh, look at this little, I'm going to name him Rocket because he got this little thing on his eye. Look, he's drinking milk out of a bottle. And her uncle was a zookeeper. Right? So she calls her uncle. I thought, man, I got this little thing, and he's awesome. And the zookeeper was like, hey, listen, like, them things after like 3 months or a certain time, like a switch goes off. Like, and they're survivors, bro. Like, we're gonna get aggressive. She's like, it'll be different for me. It'll be different for me. Instead, according to this, she should have said, let's magnify the cost. What could happen? Might happen. 1% chance of happening, and I don't want to be in that position, so I want to stay away from it. No, she said it'll be different for me. How many times I've heard that in ministry? It'll be different for me. I know they did. I know it's that show. I just heard it this morning. But it'll be different for me. All right, well, what happens? True story. Her uncle gets a phone call. She's in the hospital getting reconstructive surgery on her face. And she's taking little raccoon buddy that's been her buddy for 3 months. and it eats her face, well, literally ripped half of her face off, right? So we have to magnify the cost, God. When you have people in your life that love you, thank God. Don't look at it as nagging. If Barney comes and says, Job, I see this, I should be like, man, Barney's just nagging at me. Why can't you just give me a little bit of freedom? I'm a grown man. Like, I should be thankful instead of saying, it's different for me. I know you've lived and you have boys and you've experienced life. It'll be different for me. Like, I'm not that guy. I said in the jail yesterday, when we put a needle on for the first time, he was bummed at me. And he said, you're going to be just like me if you do this. And I was like, bro, I said, I will never be like you. Here you go. I'll show you. You know what I became? Worse than him, man. Dying in stairwells, a bum, a drug addict, a thief, a drug dealer, a ruiner of life, man. That's what I became. But I said it would be different for me, right? I didn't think to magnify the cost. I didn't think, well, what if? I didn't think any of those things, man. So when we get ready to fall into temptation, what I want you to do is train yourself when you're tempted to decide to stop and ask yourself, what could go wrong? Something could always go wrong. The big question you can decide to ask yourself is this: what if the worst case scenario comes true? Right? What if the worst case scenario comes true? What if I do this and I do get caught? What's the worst thing that can happen? Right? I've done this many times in my life, guys, in ministry. Right? So we're going to pre-decide. We're going to be ready because we know the devil's coming for us. And we know that we're not as strong as we think we are. So when I get close, even right there at it, man, I'm thinking about it. Should I step over the line? What's the worst thing that could happen? What's the worst case scenario if something comes true? And you may answer like, well, somebody could get pregnant and I'm not anywhere near ready to have a family or a baby, right? And you don't think about that in the moment, but what could happen, man, right? Like you could lose your reputation. I built my when me and Alyssa started dating Pastor Gary. I don't know Pastor Gary. He said, is it God? Yeah, God spoke to me. God spoke to her separately. We know that it's God. Get married. Don't worry about what anybody thinks about how long you're supposed to. Don't get married because you love her. You obviously think she's attractive and vice versa. You built a ministry for over a decade. Don't do anything to tear that down or break that ministry. If you know it's God, get married. Keep yourself from temptation. And I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? So Friday night after work, we got married. And my dad's church, just us, me, her, and the kids, and my dad did the vows, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we wanted to honor God. And I do, man, okay? We can't just sit on the couch and watch a movie. She had to sit over there, and I had to sit over here. Like, we had to move the line. I'm like, I want to be with her. I don't want to hold, but I just know I hate the grimy thing. When I call, was that too much? Did I fail you? Like, well, you got to stay over there. You know, Dave, when I come over your house, you can't. You can't. You know what I'm saying? You have to stay in the yard if you come over here or whatever, man. Because we didn't always do it right. You know what I'm saying? And I know the feeling that comes with that. So it was really hard. So we had to move the line. We had to count the cost. Pastor Gary was like, think about this. You could lose the ministry reputation that you built. That's a good one. Just with one choice, one decision. You might not get found out, but you might. So make sure that you're doing it right. Y'all with me, man? Man, you could lose it. You could lose your integrity. Man, what's integrity? What you do when no one's looking. Right? Some of y'all don't know what that looks like yet, but you're going to get it. You could lose that integrity. And when you get away from people that hold to the standard, you do different. Right? Yesterday I was tested with it because I wanted to smash some things that were in the fridge. And I'm like, no one's even here. The little kids don't even know. I got the bowl, I got the spoon. I was like, it's going down. And I was like, I don't want Evan to look at me like, no, you said you wouldn't do it with me. Like, that was enough for me to like, nah, ain't worth it. Throw it back in there, I'll eat some plain chicken later and starve all night. It's not worth it, guys. Like, what could happen? You could lose your job. You could lose a loved one. You could financially find yourself at a wreck. You could compromise with relationships, with your kids, with whatever. My pastor used to always quote me this verse, Numbers 32, and he scared me to death with this verse. He said, you'll be sinning against the Lord, and he said, your sin will find you out. That's what that says. And I'd be like, He'd be like, are you an open book? Can I look at your phone right now? I'd be like, yes, sir. You know, can I look at your computer right now? Yeah? Yes, sir. Here. I'd go through like, Jim, I did this, I thought that, I did this, and he'd be like, no. I don't mean like, I'm looking at every little thing you do, but I'm talking about deliberate sin that you think you're going to get away with. The Bible says, be sure your sin will find you out. I might not know every detail, but I'll see the fruit in your life of the choices that you're making, right? And everybody will know, right? Everybody will see it from 10 miles away, man. So what you want to do is ask yourself, what's the worst possible thing that could happen? Magnify the cost, and that will help you pre-decide what not to do that could hurt you later. Y'all with me? Move the line. Get away from even being close to being tempted. Magnify the cost. Blow it up, man. I've asked myself this over and over and over again. Like, what would happen if I betrayed my vows? What would happen if I entertained something on TV that's not my wife? Not even if it's like pornography. What if I would just entertain something that's R or NA? And I'm like, but it's a good show. And somebody comes over to my house, everybody knows my doors are open all the time to anybody. Come in there anytime you want. I'm not going to have panic or worry or hide the fridge like that. It happens all the time. What would happen if I'm in there watching it and somebody from the church walks in? I preached a service not too long ago and I talked about cookies. And this guy that I don't even really know him, all of a sudden is in my living room door with a pack of cookies. He's like, I heard you preach about this, man. I just had to bring you some. And I was like, I'm laying on the couch chilling, like just relaxing from service at night, you know what I mean? But I'm like, thank God I didn't have to like be fearful of that, right? Thank God I didn't have to worry about anything because, man, this is where I'm at. Be sure your sin will find you out. What if I betrayed my vows? What would happen, man? What if I lost my integrity, right? Just for a moment, God. Just talking about for a moment. What if I betrayed my relationships here and I magnify the cost? And let me tell you what would happen. Here's what I would lose the trust and respect of my best friend, the woman that I absolutely love with everything in me, man. When you lose that trust and respect, it's really hard. Right? It's really hard. It's not impossible, but it's really hard, man. Right? This woman stood by my side and honored me and has supported me in my calling and in ministry and been the biggest help that I've ever had in my entire life, in ministry, in every way, shape, or form, man. Right? My children, they look up to me as a man of God. I would lose that. I would lose that. I would lose that. They're looking at me like, he follows God. I become a guy that preaches Jesus but lives a different life at home. I've been to many funerals where people that have been in ministry, and after the funeral, the daughter walked over and was like, who was the man that they were talking about? That was not my dad. Like, that's what they seen then. That wasn't who I know of him. That was not him. And I was like, heartbreaking to hear that, man. Right? Listen, man, what would happen? These all, and I would say humbly, there's thousands of people that can be hurt. A guy messaged me the other day. He said, man, I never forget when you visited me in Juvie. And I forgot about this dude. He's around here now. He owns like a car dealership or something. He's like, man, I'll never forget when you visited me in Juvie and gave me Jesus. And I worked with him for like a year. And this is like 15, 16 years ago, man. He's like, I just want to tell you, I never forgot that. Thank you, man. And I'm like, man, I don't even realize the number of people that I would let down by compromising, even just for a moment, man. Y'all with me, guys? Listen, it's so important that we get this, man. Devastate people, right? Pull people away from the faith. Give them an excuse, man, to not do it, not do what I said. And I'm not perfect, but we're seeking God. We're trying to live a life of integrity. I could lose every bit of credibility and every bit of spiritual authority that I have. You can still love me as a brother, but my willingness to lead you is gone. Spiritual authority is gone, right? With one compromise, with one mistake, man. This is what can happen. And so it doesn't always happen that drastic. But it could, right? It absolutely could. Listen to me, 5 minutes of sin could wreck a lifetime of pursuing Jesus. A man just died, Pastor Jimmy Swagger. It was an awesome minister. He was on board to win more people to Jesus than anyone that's ever been alive, man, and known. And he fell into a sin. Right? I won't get into that, but he lost a lot. He finished well, right? He got back on track, and he never did get the people back that was following him because of this compromise. People just had a hard time. Well, I wonder if he's doing that now. He did it then. I wonder if he's doing it now. I'm like, I'm not against him, but I'm not going to serve under him. You know what I'm saying? It could happen, man. 5 minutes of sin can wreck a lifetime of pursuing Jesus. So what we're going to do, we're going to recognize that. We have a spiritual enemy, and who's going to attack us every time he can. So we're going to be ready. We're going to be on guard. When does he attack? Right? When he attacks, we're going to move the line. We're going to get away from him. We're not going to be stupid and be way out here. We're going to move the line, man. And the best example in all of Scripture, right before we bring this to a close, man, someone doing this is Joseph in the Bible, man, in the Old Testament. Right? If you don't know who Joseph is, the Bible says Joseph was a handsome, very handsome, well-built young man. Right? So this guy's good looking, and Scripture says that Potiphar's wife, basically his boss, got his boss's wife, starts hitting on him. right? She's like, man, she's looking at him lustfully, it says, right? She got them eyes, right? She's looking at him with these eyes, man. And she's like, I'm noticing that he's handsome, that he's well built. She said to him, come sleep with me, right? No one else is around. Let's go. Now, you're my bosses. You control everything. Like, you're good. Nobody's going to ever think anything. You can start by leaving the whole castle and they'll go. Like, you can say anything. No one's going to know. Come lie with me, right? And I'm sure she was an attractive woman as the king's wife. And, man, you have to appreciate the fact that she's clear, because guys are dumb, but we don't take hints very well. So she's pretty bold, right? And just puts it right out there, man. But how easy would it have been for Joseph to give in? Right? How easy would it have been, man? Think about it. This isn't my homeland. Nobody that I grew up with lives here. Right? My family's not here. My brothers don't even know where I am. We're all alone, and nobody's going to find out. And this whatever's tracking me down, flirting with me, man. I'm young and single. She made the move. Can't be that bad, right? I can't. I've honored God even in bad times, right? Or he could have done what many of us do. And the reason I know you do it is because I've done it. He could have given in because he wasn't happy with God. Right? He could have given in because, man, God, you didn't do anything. God, when my brothers beat me up and threw me in a hole. Right? God, you didn't seem to do anything when my brothers sold me into slavery. Where were you? You didn't do anything for me, so why would I continually honor you when I went through what I went through, man? So here in a bad situation, and I'm in this situation because you let me down. You didn't deliver me. So, man, why would I have integrity for you when you weren't even there when I needed you most? Many people who go there, man, that's the reason that they compromise. And so often we feel like since God didn't do what I wanted him to do, I'm not going to do what he wants me to do. Right? And we get in bad situations, man. I'm just going to do it, man. And so don't ever do this. The very thing many of us use our disappointments to justify our disobedience. So many times when people have failed here, they have a reason, right? Brittany did it. Matt didn't. Josh didn't. God didn't. This place did it, right? They have a reason to justify why they're doing what they're doing, man. Don't ever go there and let that happen to you, man. When people say my spouse isn't meeting my needs, so I got to do what I got to do. Right? They're not helping me out, man. Let me be clear on this, man. You gotta pre-decide, man. Joseph pre-decided that he was going to honor God. She came on to him, and he faithfully resisted. He told her, no deal. Like, your husband trusts me as a man of God. How can I sin against him? How can I sin against God? And so he resisted. What happened when he resisted? Right? Think about this. She stopped. The angel sang, the halo came over his head, and he was never tempted again. Is that what happened? Heck no. Right? Heck no, man. That ain't true. You know what happened? She kept getting into his business every single day. You're looking good. Day after day, she hit on him. Day after day, she made moves. In the same way, day after day, the enemy's going to try to come after you. Day after day, he's going to try to attack you, just like she did. And because we know he's coming for us, and because we know we're not as strong as we think, we're going to pre-decide to plan our escape. The very last thing that I want y'all to write down, man. We got to plan our escape. That's the last thing that we have to do, man. We got to plan how we're going to get out of there, man. Why? But the scripture says he left his cloak in her hand and he ran outside. Why? He knew it was better to have a good name than a good coat, right? He knew it was better to have a good name than material things. So he got the heck out of there, man. I'm going to let go of that. It's going to hold me back. It's going to get me in trouble because I pre-decided my name is more valuable than any kind of possession. Right? He pre-decided this in his life so that when she came, he already knew what he was going to do. Right? When she grabbed hold of me, I'm ripping out of that code and I'm getting out of there. So what did he do? Not what most men that I know would do. Right? But he did it because he pre-decided who he was in God and what he was going to do. He predetermined. If she grabs, I run because I'm not strong enough to resist it. Why do you think he ran? Right? He would have stayed around, he probably would have gave into it. So I know when I'm there, I'm moving the line, I'm magnifying the cost, and I'm getting the heck out of here, man. And he ran out with his coat in her hand because he was convinced, man. He said, God, you're faithful, you're always faithful, you'll never let me down, and I'll never let you be able to be tempted beyond what you're able, is what Corinthians tells us, man. So the good news is when you're tempted, Scripture says you'll always have a way of escape. Y'all with me, man? Always. Is there ever an excuse to fall into temptation? Only if we want to. Only if we choose to, man. God says he'll give you a way out, but every single time, there's no temptation the devil will bring your way, which God hasn't given you an escape out of. There's no lust, there's no financial temptation, there's no breach of integrity, there's no relational loss, in which God already hasn't said, there's a door, there's another way to deal with this right here, man. So we pre-decide, we choose ahead of time. The devil is going to attack. I'm not as strong as I think I am, man, but I'm ready. Right? I'm on guard. I'm watching. I'm predetermined to move the line. I pre-decided to magnify the cost. And when she grabs my coat, when that temptation gets too much, I'm out the door, man. I'm getting out of there before I fall into temptation. Because no one plans to screw up their life, right? Nobody, man. But people do it all the time. I mean, I have no shortage of people that need to talk because of this very thing right here. All day, every day, at night, on video calls in the evening, like all the time, right? Good people that I love like family, man, and they screw up all the time. No one plans that, man, but most people don't plan not to screw up either, right? Most people don't plan, so we're going to be on our guard. We're going to be ready. What I want you to do is I want you to be incredibly honest for the next 2 minutes as we close, man. I want you to be incredibly honest about where you're vulnerable. Just think about it. You close your eyes, you can look down, you can sit there, whatever you want to do. Just be really incredibly honest about where you're vulnerable. How does our spiritual enemy attack you? Is it in relationship? Is it in justifying your insecurity? Whatever it is, man. I want you to really just take a moment and think about it, man. Where are you vulnerable? Mind you, the enemy's coming for you. That's not something to be scared of. Because greater is he that is, but we have to be ready. It's not to scare you, it's to get you ready, right? We're not as strong as we think. So what are we going to do? We're on guard, guys. We're watching, we're praying, we're pre-deciding to move the line, man. I'm going to stay far away. Before I'm tempted, I'm going to magnify the cost. Where I'm tempted, where I'm most vulnerable, what's the worst thing that could happen if I fall into that temptation? Magnify the cost. What's the worst thing? I might not ever be able to speak back into my kid's life because of what I did. I might, or I might not. I might not be able to stand and minister to a group of people ever again. I might not, guys. You might not, you might forgive me, but I might not have your honor and your respect ever again. If I fall into this temptation, man, think about where you're vulnerable, man. Magnify the cost, man. What's the worst possible scenario that could happen if I even go there, right? You think ahead of time on how to plan your escape. And all this, guys, as we get ready to pray, is based on your values. Because when our values are clear, decisions are easy, right? If you know what you value, it's not hard to say no. When that person asks you to come do this, no. Why? Because I know what I value. And I know what I want. And I want to be a man of integrity. I want to be a man that's honorable. I want my staff to be able to say, we have an honorable pastor, somebody that has integrity, that will follow, and we know that that's who he is, here, there, or wherever he's at, man. Like, I value that. I value reputation, because at one time, my reputation was trash. My reputation was dope fiend, inmate, right? Like, I was a docket number with parole and probation office. That was my reputation, but now, I work really hard, man, to try to get a godly good reputation. Worst case scenario, with even the smallest little compromise, could be I've ruined that. And can I get that back? Maybe I won't. Jesus, help us, God, to be able to really know what we value, know who we want to be,